Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm RevPGs and today we're reviewing bombrushcyberfunk. This is a very different game to what we're usually reviewing on this channel. It's our first non-JRPG and our first non-gacha we're playing and reviewing. I've got a lot of thoughts to get into, and this game is inspired by Jet Set Radio. You can very much see the influence in this game, and I can just say this game is brilliant, so let's get into the review. We're going to be starting off this review very strong, and that's with the story and plot. I was pleasantly surprised with this game. I wasn't expecting a really good plot, and I wasn't expected to be invested in the story, the characters, and just the world in general. This game has a great story, and at first I was a bit disappointed when I didn't hear many voice lines in the game. There were only like little quips, like one-liners, where they would say hello, yo, stuff like that, which at first I wasn't disappointed by, but I thought, oh, voice acting will really enhance this. But by the time I got to the midpoint in the game, I was just really thinking, this game really doesn't need voice acting, does it? Because it just reminded me of an early 2000s game where you wouldn't need voice acting, and, you know, characters didn't need voice acting to make them, you know, likable. They were just likable because that's the way they were written. And I can say in this game, that's brilliant. The story is great, and I'm going to be giving the story a 9.5 out of 10. Okay guys, we're moving on to our main topic of this video, and that's the gameplay and combat. There's a whole lot to talk about here, so we're going to take a couple of minutes just to break things down one by one. We're going to start off with the core gameplay loop, and in this game, it's quite fun, honestly. The gameplay loop is, you go from each district. There's 5 districts in New Amsterdam, which is the place this game is set in. I'm not sure why it's called New Amsterdam, I don't know if that's really explained. But, you know, if you know in the comments if there's any secret lore about the game, I'd love to know, because honestly, I'm really interested. And I hope this game gets a sequel, because the lore is very interesting. Anyways, we're not going to be talking about the story, obviously, so we're going to move on from that. The way you take over each of these districts is you have to challenge each street gang within those districts. You can walk up to each of them after getting a certain amount of reputation in each area. Say you need 80 reputation to talk to someone, yes, you get it, but you have to beat them in a certain thing. You have to beat their high score whilst doing certain tricks. This may be, you know, you'll do your manuals down hills with a bike or something, or you'll have to do a certain amount of tricks the exact same way, and you have to land it the same way they do. It's really interesting to start a game like this, because I don't usually like these score-based games where you have to get the highest score. I find them way too repetitive, but in this it felt very original. I felt very just happy with how fun the game was. The gameplay loop is awesome in this game. Each time I took over a new district, I felt very accomplished, which I know it's just a game, but it's fun. It's like, you know, a lot of games, to me personally, recently haven't been as fun, but this is something new, and it's something I would like to see in other games, you know, high score based games like Tetris and stuff. Usually I don't find them very fun, but with this I found it extremely fun. That's not all though, of course, because you've got your skating mechanics and you've got your bike mechanics, your skateboard mechanics, but that isn't just what this game is about. You've got your graffiti mechanics where you go up to certain walls whilst you're skating, whilst you're on your bike, whatever you're doing, and you have to graffiti these areas, and then you get reputation. That's how you get your reputation. You've got loads of tricks you can do, you've got manuals, you've got secret tricks, which I only discovered after finishing the game's main story, which is a bit sad to admit. But yeah, I'm having so much fun with the game even now, and it's been, what, like 3 weeks since I finished playing the game, I believe. It's amazing, and I would highly recommend it to anyone. Obviously, I wanted to speak about the hidden mechanics. There's hidden manuals where you have this boost ability, and you have to do manuals at the same time, and as you're doing these manuals, you have to hold down the boost ability and do a trick at the same time. It was quite hard to really master, but once I did, I was having quite a bit of fun with that. There's loads of other things you could do in this game, but the mechanics are somewhat easy to pick up, but the hidden mechanics are obviously going to be harder. There's also hidden mechanics in the form of like puzzles and stuff. You've got these little, I don't even know what to call them, these guys that you have to slap their hands in a certain amount of turns, I believe. Not turns, sorry. You have to make sure that your score is still going on whilst you hit them. I don't know how to explain it, but there's that. That's not really a hidden mechanic, but what I wanted to talk about was there's certain areas you can come up to that you can only access with either the bike, the skates, or the skateboard. With the skateboard, you can come up to these poles, you have to spin on it, and then it takes you up to a higher area. With the skates, you can go onto high up glass areas, and you can break the glass floor, and you can go through it. There's no other way to do it without the skates. I was trying to figure it out for the whole entire game, only figured it out at the end of the game. And with the bike, you come up to bike pickup stations, you put your bike there, and then it opens up a door and you get like a secret item. Well, I wouldn't really call it secret, but, you know, you get a almost hidden item if you didn't know about the mechanics. Honestly, that to me is fun because it really just brings more exploration to the game. It gives more of a reason to explore, find things, and have fun. Obviously, I've already spoken about the core mechanics. Each vehicle does feel completely different, even though they're pretty much the same in terms of how you use them. The gameplay is always going to be the same with each different version that you're using, whether you're using the bike, the skateboard, or the skates. Which at first I thought they would be, you know, adding a bit more variation, but with the animations and all, it felt like you were using a different, you know, vehicle each time. So it didn't really matter to me because it still felt new and different. We're going to move on to the combat now, which I was heavily surprised by. I didn't think there would be combat. There's not too much to talk about here. It's pretty much just spam the button 7 times, kick them into the air, and then graffiti on their bodies. Yeah, I'm not even joking. And there's also a secret kind of move you can do where you have to hold down 2 buttons, you punch them into the air, and you can just graffiti them on the spot. It's like an AoE attack. There's just so much in this game that's fun in terms of the gameplay, but there's so much that I want to explain to you guys, but I want this video to be short, and I want you guys to be able to digest this information easily. So I'm going to give the gameplay a 10 out of 10, which is a big compliment. Trust me, I love this game. Before we do start this topic, I would like to say a few things about this video first. I have noticed a few audio issues. I have fixed that now. I'm not going to go back and re-record everything because I think it's still going to sound better when the video comes out. We'll have to see. I might have to edit this whole video again. If not, I'll keep it the same. I also do want to say I'm sorry about some of the gameplay in this video. It's from my early moments in the game, my first couple of hours, so it's not going to be that great. This clip that I'm playing now though, it's quite a bit better compared to my other gameplay recordings, so I hope you enjoy. And yeah, let's start speaking about the music first. I'm including these both into the same category, mainly because they intertwine a lot in this game. You know, a lot of games, they use their music as a form of aesthetic. They fit the art style perfectly. That's what I like about this game, is that the art style perfectly fits the world, perfectly fits the characters. Every single track in this game is absolutely amazing. There's not a single music track in this game that I dislike or wouldn't want to hear. I've got every single one of them on my Spotify playlist, and I just love the soundtrack. We're not going to talk too much about it because you're hearing quite a bit of it in this video. In fact, this whole video, the background music is all from the game soundtrack. I'll probably leave a link to the playlist down below in the description if you guys want to listen, because goddamn is the music in this game great. But yeah, it fits in with the aesthetic perfectly. Story moments when certain tracks come on, you can tell they fit the areas you're in. Obviously there's 5 different districts, and each time you enter a new one, you get a few new tracks. You can also get these tracks and use them on a shuffle playlist inside of your phone, which is like your game menu, or sometimes you can put on shuffle mode and they'll randomly just come on. Or in certain parts of the story, you'll hear like any different track that you haven't already earned or found, if that makes any sense. But yeah, moving on to the art style, I really like it in this game. It does remind me of Jet Set Radio. I've never actually fully played a Jet Set Radio game, but I've always wanted to. There is a remake coming out of Jet Set Radio on modern consoles, so I'm excited for that. But this is kind of like a tease of what can be created, what, you know, Jet Set Radio can accomplish by having a remake. I honestly do love this game and I love the art style. We're going to wrap this up and give the music and art style a 10 out of 10. And yes, there's a lot of high ratings for this game. I do believe this might be one of my favourite games of all time. Moving on to the final verdict, I've got a lot of thoughts to say before we do get onto the final rating. So let's recap everything from start to finish. Starting with the story, really enjoyed it. Honestly, did not expect such an in-depth story. I was disappointed by no voice acting at first. There is voice acting with little quips, one-liners. Well, not even one-liners, more like one word every couple of minutes, but I didn't mind by the end of the game. I found it extremely fun. It felt like I was playing a game on the Wii when I was younger, or a PS2 game, you know, stuff like that. And it really made me happy that I was playing a game that had a good story, that wasn't too long. Twists were weird, but also fun and explainable, you know. With most games where they have weird twists or the stories are all over the place, by the end of it you just can't make sense of it. But in this, they wrap it up perfectly. The final plot twist was awesome. I really liked the main characters, well, character development. I liked the relationships with all of your crewmates. And there's also still some stuff I haven't unlocked in the game after I've beaten the main story. Like, there's many characters you can collect, you have to beat certain characters' high scores, and then you can play as them. There's like 20 something characters in this game, and I've only got like 7. But yeah, I do think the story in this game is brilliant. Moving on, we're going to be speaking about the combat. At first I was a bit confused on what the hell I was doing, but then I learned the somewhat secret AoE move where you hit them into the air, then you can graffiti them, and then it gives you more points. Honestly, really enjoyed the combat. It was super fun and it wasn't too complicated. It was janky in places, but the fun kind of jank. It kind of fit the game perfectly for some reason. The mechanics were awesome. At first, I knew how to use them, but the gameplay I recorded for the early parts of this video wasn't that good because I was kind of focusing on keeping my score going rather than, you know, getting it as high as I possibly could. I was being too wasn't taking too many risks and stuff, but as I got through the game, I was taking more risks, jumping to higher spots, trying harder tricks, and I really enjoyed getting my score up, which is surprising because I really do not like high score games. I find them high score, not high school. If you heard that, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't really like high score games because it doesn't feel fun to replay the same shit over and over again. But yeah, moving on, we're going to be speaking about the music. The music is brilliant. Every track fits the game perfectly. I could probably sing the lyrics of every song in this game because I have heard them so many times now, though, because there's not too many in this game. There's about 30 or 40 tracks, and obviously they loop a lot because you're playing. Sometimes you'll miss a trick and then it'll get frustrating because the music's constantly playing, so you have to change a track. But overall, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. The art style was awesome. I really like vibrant games. I don't really like vibrant games, but in this I really did enjoy it because it fit everything perfectly. Usually with vibrant games, I don't see the point with having all of these bright colours because it hurts your eyes, and sometimes the colours clash a bit too much. But here, everything is perfect. You've got this cartoony comic book style that really just complements everything, and I really enjoyed that. I do like cozy games and that with a pretty art style, like Infinity Nikki, which is coming out next month, which I'll be doing a review on that. maybe. I do like games like that, but if it's a game where you have to be looking at the screen a lot and there's a lot happening on the screen, I usually find it quite annoying how bright the screen is, the contrast, the colours, it clashes and it gives me a headache. But this game, it was perfectly fine. I didn't get a headache while in the vibrant areas with a bunch of colours, and honestly, brilliant map. Honestly, I loved exploring it, and I've still got a few things to collect and go through. But yeah, I'm going to be giving bombrushcyberfunk a 10 out of 10 because this game is amazing and I would highly recommend it to anyone. This will be my last review in this formula. I'm going to try something different with my next one. So I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.